How big? How many?
It is possible. How many? I think 1 million or about that. Not more.
Then shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Константин, взгляд, интернет-портал, Russian интернет-портал.
Okay.
Your Holiness, we already talked about government, poor and rich, and what about how how to find a balance between the interests of the state, of the government, of the policy, and guarantee the individual freedom, freedom of mind, of religious, of faith.
Firstly, I always telling, world belongs to 7 billion human beings, humanity, not spiritual leaders or as the queens or kings. So each nation, one time in America, I told that America belongs to about 300 millions of American people, not a Democratic Party or Republican Party. Then also you see, in Japan, sometimes I express, Japan belongs to Japanese people, not they are respected as a king, emperor, like that. So then, the way to govern their own country by the people, the best system is the democratic system. Choose through vote their leader, and then once you become leader, since people choose, so the leader must be accountable to public, transparently. And then if necessary, like one of the former president of America, Mr. Nixon, some sort of Watergate sort of scandal, impeachment, like that. So the best thing is the best system rule the country by the people is through democratic system. That's best. Therefore, my own case, since 2011, I entirely now retired, completely retirement from political responsibility. There's not only myself retired, but also almost 4-century-old tradition. Dalai Lama institution automatically become head of both spirituality and temporal. Now that now voluntarily happily ended. Because this, my belief, the democratic system is the best system. So then, that because the reality, the development of the country, after all, people's effort is very essential. For that, the individual creativity is very, very essential. So in order to carry individual creativity fully, freedom is very necessary. And in order to get more holistic knowledge, freedom of speech, particularly the press, free press, freedom of media is very, very important. So sometimes you see censorship. That, I think particular circumstances, like I think during Bolshevik Revolution, Civil War, and during sort of Second World War, the things are really, really serious. Then maybe some relevant censorship. But peaceful time, the censorship is actually, you see, immoral. The people must know the reality. So now you got, you see, a new situation in Russia. So I think the freedom of speech, freedom of press, in order to develop freedom of idea, freedom of thought, you see, you need variety of information. Then you have the opportunity to analyze. Just one belief, impossible. Then, like the former period, stagnation of your economy, because everything centralized. Like that.
Okay, another question. It's popular, especially in our country, to talk about national identity, the rise of national identity, and how how important is the national identity, and how it should relate to the universe human and the identity, to the universe values.
Yes. Again, too much emphasis the national identity, neglect humanity. Then this concept of we and they increase. Again, each people, each area, their own sort of the cultural heritage, including language. So certain way of life, because of the environment and certain sort of circumstances. So that culture and language fit their own people. So love their own culture, love their own language. That's very, very right. But within the concept of same humanity, I think that's important. So, love one's own nation, one's own, like Russia, within Russian Federation, there are different communities. You see, carry their own culture, their own language, their own religion, with their own different identity, okay. But meantime, remain as a sort of good citizen of Russian Federation. So similarly, wider way, different people, different culture. So they must sort of preserve their own, they all have the right to preserve their own identity. Meantime, strong feeling, oneness of humanity. That I think very, very important. Sometimes, now for example, the few years ago, Copenhagen summit about global warming. Global warming. You see, some sort of some leaders, you see, much emphasis about their national interest rather than global interest. So these things we have to think more wider way, more holistic way. Next.
Okay. And the third my question is, really, is it real to find and to make a respectful and tolerant dialogue between religions and cultures, or is it a myth? Is it impossible? And it's impossible. And is it realistic? What should be the common ethical ground of this dialogue?
Culture, religion, I think two things separate, I feel. Culture related more with community. Religion related more individual. This is my feeling. That's why you see the community, same culture, same way of life, but individually different faith possible. So multi-religious the community. And of course, in big cities, sometimes multicultural also is possible. So in any way, once we develop firm conviction, oneness of humanity, then, like different culture with different religious faith, it's like, I think, the human garden, flower. If the garden, only one kind of flower, only one color, may not be so nice, so beautiful. Or garden with different flower, different color, different size. Maybe, I think, same good smell, bad smell, I don't know. So that is more attractive. Similarly, the big garden of humanity, different religion, different culture. I think good. And anyway, realistically speaking, whether we like it or not, already different cultures, different religions already there. For example, the Russian Federation, I think several centuries already is in different religions already there. So that's a fact, that's a reality. And then also when we talk about humanity, there's different religious traditions, different culture, already there. So each one have their every right to preserve that. And because that helped them. Now, at the same time, it's obviously common practice, common message there. Now religion, for example, especially religion. In the philosophical field, big differences. Some religions say, oh, there is creator. The theistic religion, most of the religion say there is creator. But some religion, such as Jainism, Sangha philosophy, Buddhism, no concept of creator, but rather self-creation, we individual. Ultimately, one's own future created by oneself. So therefore, self-creation, that concept. So philosophical views, big differences. But then, then we should ask, what is the purpose of these different philosophies? Then, same purpose. Try to become a good human being, sensible human being, compassionate human being. All major traditions use different philosophy, but same goal, same aim. Christians, Islam, Judaism, different Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, so on. All these major religious traditions, the essentials of the practice, essentials of the teaching is practice of love. And all, you see, teach us practice of forgiveness, tolerance, self-discipline. Same. All, you see, aiming, try to become sensible human being, like that, or compassionate human being. So again here, need look more wider way. Then we can see all have same sort of potential, all this different philosophy, same goal. Then we can develop respect, mutual respect. Here, one thing I want to share, the faith and respect, two separate things. Faith, one's own religion. Respect all religions. We can do that. Then also, in order to develop that, we should make distinction. Love one's own religion, but should not attach your own religion. Once we develop attachment towards your own religion, then your mental attitude will become biased. With biased mind, you can't see the things objectively. So then, difficult to see the value of other tradition. So you must love your own religion, faith your own religion, but meantime, should not too much attachment, like that. So, I think India is one good example. 1,000 years, different religious traditions. Now today, I think several centuries, all major world religious tradition flourish here, live together. Of course, occasionally some fight, quarrel here and there, but basically very harmonious. Therefore, India's constitution based on secular, because the nation, multi-religious community. So, concept respect all religion, including non-believer.
Thank you.